"You're fired because I hate you," Margaret, the CEO's daughter, declared, grinning slightly. Not only did she steal the new system I painstakingly developed through countless hours, but she also attempted to kick me out of the company. Margaret, you're laughing happily now, but do you understand what it means to kick me out? On top of that, do you think you can operate and maintain the complex system I created while you haven't done anything? Peace, see. Yes, yes. Loser, just go away. It was useless. She wouldn't listen to me at all. Exhaustion weighed heavily on me after many sleepless nights. I was at my physical and mental limit. I grabbed my bag and stood up. As I left the office floor, I turned back and said, "You will definitely regret this." What could a soon-to-be jobless loser possibly say? Margaret, with her sneaky plots and power, tried to bring me down, but she can't keep getting away with this. She will realize this soon enough. My name is Daniel Johnson, 40 years old. I work as a system engineer at SoftLife Tech Corporation, known as SLT, one of the top 5 companies on the West Coast. I have a childhood friend who is a year younger than me. Hello, Daniel. Oh, I guess it's night over there. Maria, you seem as energetic as ever. The cheerful voice coming through the video call on my PC belongs to Maria Williams. She is my childhood friend, and we spent almost every day together from kindergarten through middle school. Unlike me, she was exceptionally talented. When her parents were assigned overseas during high school, she moved abroad with her family. Since then, she has steadily built her career over there. Even though you're only a year younger than me, you still have this childlike side to you. Talking to you regularly like this makes it feel like we're not living apart. Well, talking to you relaxes me. You know how people here are very assertive. You have to be bright, strong, and straight. Otherwise, you can't get by. That sounds tough. It really is, she laughed. This is the ease of having a childhood friend. But don't be fooled by her demeanor. Maria is an elite working at a global company. I work at Elder Solutions, known as ES, one of the top 5 companies in the world. There's a big difference between us. She's an elite, and on top of that, a beauty. There's a reason we keep in touch like this. Hey, how's Grandma Nancy doing? Don't worry. The fever she had was just a cold. Today, she even brought some stew. Oh, that's great. I'm so relieved. Because you're there, it's really good to have someone trustworthy nearby. When Maria's family moved overseas, only her grandmother, Nancy, stayed in America. I was asked by the Williams family to take care of Nancy, as she had taken care of me since I was a child. I gladly accepted. Maria is very attached to her grandmother, so she often checks in like this. Well, every time I see her, she asks, "When's the wedding?" But I said that Maria is married to her job right now. Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Oh, by the way, there's something I wanted to tell you. Really? What is it? Well, I'm going to. Just as she was about to say something, my phone rang. Wow, a call from the office at this time? Sorry, Maria, hold on a second. No worries, we'll see each other soon anyway. Good night and good luck with work. Ignoring my puzzled look, Maria ended the video call. I had no idea at the time. I couldn't have imagined how this conversation would change my future. I arrived at the office at my usual time, rubbing my sleepy eyes as I faced my PC. Honestly, proper reporting is basic to our job. Yesterday's chaos could have been avoided if not for a simple communication error. Being sleep-deprived made me grumble more. The call during my chat with Maria informed me that part of the system scheduled for delivery was incomplete. Apparently, the person in charge failed to communicate this. Because of that, I had to work from home until just before coming to the office. How many minutes of sleep did I get? Looks like I'll have to postpone my call with Maria. Yawning, I continued typing without slowing down. The system I'm currently working on is a project where I can't afford to cut corners. It was well past working hours when suddenly, a female employee walked into the office floor. A nearby colleague hurriedly stood up to greet her. "Good morning, Margaret." Yeah, she just walked boldly through the aisle in a department primarily focused on PC work indoors. Her flashy attire stood out. Her name is Margaret Moore. She's a 39-year-old employee, just like Maria. However, the air she exudes is clearly not that of an ordinary employee. "Oh, Margaret, it's past work start time. Could you at least be a bit more considerate of everyone?" "Considerate? Why should I be?" "Well, it's company policy. Everyone on the morning shift is here on time, you know." "Don't lump me in with the other underlings. And Mr. Supervisor, are you trying to give me advice?" Margaret brazenly argued with her supervisor, who was merely giving proper guidance. Moreover, her argument was utterly ridiculous. That's not how someone who is late should argue, but it makes sense. Margaret is the CO's daughter of SLT. With the TO backing her, no one dares to say anything reckless. Some people have actually been transferred for getting on her bad side. She hasn't changed at all since her school days. In fact, Margaret and I went to the same high school. Even back then, she did whatever she wanted, and I, as her senior, was tormented by her and her entourage. Well, Margaret didn't remember any of it. "Hey, Daniel." After brushing off the supervisor, Margaret didn't go to her desk, but came straight to me. Reluctantly, I responded. "What is it, Margaret? If it's about yesterday's report, it can wait." "Report? Why on earth would I need to report anything to you? You've got to be kidding." I was genuinely exasperated. Margaret was the one who caused yesterday's chaos. She probably dumped the tasks on her followers because she found them bothersome. What's with that look? You're still such an annoying guy. I really hate you. Yes, my bad. So, what do you want? I'm thirsty. Go get me a bottle of water and some snacks. Don't you dare get the cheap ones. You've got to be. I scowled, but soon a few employees gathered around Margaret, giving me cold looks. They were her loyal followers. Margaret used them to pressure others into doing her bidding. Of course, you'll get enough for everyone here, right? You can do that, can't you all? Right, but make sure you do your work properly. I retorted sarcastically, partly in rebellion against her princess attitude. Just as I stood up, I heard the sound of papers falling. When I turned back, I saw that the file propped up on my desk had been knocked over, and Margaret's followers were smirking nearby. Margaret said triumphantly, "Hurry up. This isn't high school, you know." I sighed and left the office floor. This is how Margaret harasses me, and it's not just me. Everyone, including our supervisor, has experienced her bullying in our department. Margaret is the undisputed boss. I might seriously consider changing jobs once this system is completed. One day, as I was thinking this, an incident occurred. What? You're quitting? Yes. I'm sorry, Daniel, but I can't take it anymore, my junior colleague weakly announced over the phone. I had been working with him on developing a new system, a Moonlink network system. It connects various devices to the internet, creating a unified environment. To give a simple example, it allows you to connect your home's lighting, air conditioning, rice cooker, and washing machine to the internet, enabling remote control. It's the living of the near future. SLT is currently focusing on this Moonlink network system, and we were mainly responsible for designing the main system. You're very talented. Your programming is efficient, and there are no major bugs. I respect your technical skills. If you keep at it, you should get promoted soon. So why? I'm sorry. I just can't stand being in that workplace anymore. Is it her? I bit my lip. I had noticed that Margaret had been targeting this junior colleague for a while. It wasn't that he had been particularly rude. Margaret just didn't like his appearance and the way he spoke. I'm sorry. Sorry too. I couldn't protect you. No, Daniel, you stood up for me all along. I'm really grateful, but that's why I feel so pathetic. I haven't been able to sleep for the past month, and I can't focus on work. I'm really sorry for leaving like this at such an important time. Don't worry about it. It's okay to run away, especially from someone like her. Just take some time off, forget about the company, and you'll find another job soon enough. Just focus on getting some sleep. I consoled my apologetic junior and ended the call. Right after that, I heard Margaret's voice. That guy is quitting. Oh, really? I'm so relieved that the creep is gone. I was thinking about how to get him to quit if he stuck around any longer. Margaret, enough is enough. What? Enough is enough, Daniel. You're the only one left in our department who talks to me like that. Keep acting tough. Haha, completely looking down on me. Margaret walked away. I hit my fist against my palm in frustration, but I didn't have time to be angry at Margaret. With my talented junior leaving, I now had to handle the main system development on my own. At this rate, we'll miss the deadline. This is going to be a real nightmare. I steeled myself and turned back to my PC. For the next few days, I worked almost non-stop without sleep. I wanted to delegate tasks within the department, but with Margaret keeping a close watch, I couldn't communicate well with my colleagues. I had no choice but to secretly ask the section chief for help. Got it. I'll discreetly arrange for support from other departments, but there will be limits. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate it. No need to say so. I should be the one apologizing. I'm sorry for putting so much on you. Even the section chief who said this looked quite worn out. He was probably at his wit's end dealing with Margaret. I sympathized with him, but I couldn't focus on others' problems. Wait, did I eat lunch? Energy drinks? Oh no, I'm out. I should buy more. But first, I need to finish this. I mumbled to myself while working tirelessly at my desk. Days of all-nighters had left me utterly exhausted. I hadn't been home in a while. Nancy, worried, had contacted me several times, but I could barely respond. I'm swamped with work, but I'm okay, was all I could manage to reply. However, thanks to this effort, I managed to complete the system construction by the deadline, sending the report email. It's all done. I collapsed onto the keyboard. Empty bottles of energy drinks and boxes of nutrition bars were scattered around my desk, creating a mess. I didn't even feel like cleaning up. I'm just going to sleep here. No, I can't. I need to go home. I can't worry Nancy anymore. Wow, what a mess here. Margaret approached, half smiling. I didn't have the energy to deal with her and tried to ignore her. This is what rock bottom looks like, so filthy and disgusting. If you're just here to insult me, save it for tomorrow. Oh, what a greeting. I brought you some good news. With that, Margaret placed something on my head. It was a sheet of paper. Annoyed, I grabbed it. What is this? A transfer order. And this is to a warehouse in the middle of nowhere. Yes, a demotion order. I requested it. How's that for good news? She leaned in, amused by my reaction. Just having someone like you in our workplace is stressful. I've been thinking about how to get rid of you. Then I came up with a great idea. A great idea. You know, Daniel, you were developing our company's flagship system, right? I figured I might as well take credit for creating that system. Hey, Margaret, don't you dare joke about that. Forgetting my exhaustion and sleepiness, I stood up, but Margaret's sly smile didn't disappear. As the CEO's daughter and the creator of our next big product, I'd be seen as a promising future leader. It's a perfect image, don't you think? And if I send you off to the countryside, I get rid of a noisy pest. 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You, how can you be so deceitful? If you're that upset, you can always quit our company, you know. I won't let up until you do. That piece of paper is just the beginning. Margaret continued, I hate you, so you're fired. That's basically it. Margaret, you're laughing now, but do you understand what it means to kick me out? On top of that, you think you can just steal the system I developed. Do you think you can operate and maintain the complex system I created while you haven't done anything with PC? Yes, loser. Just get away. It's useless. She wouldn't listen to me at all. Exhaustion weighed heavily on me. After days of all-nighters, I was at my physical and mental limit. I grabbed my bag and stood up. As I left the office floor, I turned back and said, "You will definitely regret this." What could a soon-to-be jobless loser possibly say? Just like in high school, Margaret used her scheming and power to bring me down. But this is SLT, a company dealing with clients in the adult world. She can't continue acting like a high schooler without consequences. Margaret will realize this soon enough. That day, thanks to the section chief's intervention, I went home early. After calming down a worried Nancy, I slept like a log. Oh, what time is it? What? It's almost midnight. Waking up in the middle of the night. How inconvenient. I woke up late at night and decided to have a light snack while booting up my PC. Even when tired, sticking to my desk was like an occupational hazard. Wow, I got an intense email from Maria. I made her worry too. After checking my piled-up emails, I initiated a video call almost instantly. Thank goodness you're alive. I'm alive. I just came through a rough patch. I see. For someone as capable as you to go silent, it must have been a really urgent project. Hey, you're overestimating me. I chuckled. Seeing Maria's face put me at ease, and I ended up telling her everything about the recent turmoil. After all, my transfer was already decided, and Margaret was determined to make me quit. There was no need to put on a brave face for Maria, but her reaction was far beyond what I expected. What? That's unacceptable. Maria, I can't believe it. This is Daniel Johnson we're talking about, the developer of the main system for the new era. That woman must have weeds growing in her brain. Hey, calm down. Maria continued to vent and curse with a different expression. I had never seen her this furious. Maria then pasted a link to an article in the video call chat. Daniel, I wanted to ask you about this. It's about your company, right? A new era with Moonlink network systems. Oh yes, that's right. I didn't know it was featured in an industry magazine. So the woman proudly featured as the system developer is Margaret Moore. It's true. When did this happen? If the article is out now, it means she planned to steal my work from the start. What a piece of work. I was more stunned than angry. For some reason, Maria nodded as if she had figured something out. I found this article today and got worried. It's all so polished, but I wondered if they could really pull it off. I'm glad it's not you spreading these lies but her. Wait a minute. There's no way they published something so reckless. Seriously? Margaret said all this nonsense in an interview? What are we going to do if clients misunderstand? It could be disastrous. Normally, a supervisor would review this, right? Normally, yes. But with Margaret, she could easily bypass the section chief or the department head. No one can stop her. If she keeps going rogue, it could threaten the company's very existence. A cold sweat and a sense of helplessness washed over me. I had been working my butt off for the sake of my junior colleagues who left due to stress, but now it all feels pointless. Then why don't you come work for us, Daniel? Maria suddenly spoke with a serious expression. I straightened up instinctively, even through the screen. I could feel she was serious. Actually, I'm being assigned to S as the Managing Director of Elder Solutions. Daniel? No, Mr. Daniel Johnson. I want you to work with us. Maria, I'm serious. Your talent is far beyond this. You don't need to bother with someone like Margaret Moore, who thinks she's the queen of the jungle. You can go further, much further. Her passionate persuasion touched me deeply. This was probably a skill she honed abroad. Receiving a direct offer from such an incredible childhood friend was an immense honor. Actually, I've already formed a team, assuming you would join, so if you decline, I'll be in big trouble. Hey, you just ruined the touching moment from a few seconds ago. Sorry. Maria quickly reverted to her usual expression. So, Daniel, what's your answer? There's no need to confirm something like that. I grinned confidently. I'm going to work with you, Maria. You won't regret it. Contract sealed. A few weeks later. Well, Daniel, are you still clinging pathetically to our company? Not at all. I'm just cleaning out my desk. I had officially resigned from SASLT and was there for my final cleanup. Margaret showed up to taunt me. I gave her a cold look. So how's the system going? The Moonlink network system you so cleverly stole from me. Oh, it's going perfectly. Thanks to you. I've even been scheduled for a TV appearance. Thanks so much. That's the most insincere thanks I've ever heard. It doesn't look like you're managing it yourself. Well, make the most of your moment in the spotlight. Why are you so smug? It's annoying. Margaret looked puzzled. I had no obligation to answer her, so I ignored her and went to say my goodbyes to my colleagues. That must have irritated her. So, have you found a new job? You're probably going to end up unemployed or at some bottom-tier company. Actually, I've been hired as an engineer at Red Suns. What? Red Suns, one of the top IT companies in the world? How did you manage that? Hearing this, not only Margaret but also my colleagues murmured in disbelief. You're lying. There's no way someone like you could get hired by such a global company. Say what you will, but it's the truth. Show me proof. Show me proof. Fine. Here you go. My business card. I pulled out my business card from my pocket. Margaret snatched it and stared at it with wide eyes. Red Suns. Technology architect? Project manager? Daniel Johnson? What the hell is this? What do you mean? It's exactly what it says, unless there's a typo. Don't mess with me. This can't be real. It's a lie. There's no way. And as a project manager, Margaret muttered to herself, how much money did you pay them? Hey, are you implying the company that hired me operates on bribes? If you insult them further, I'll get angry. When I spoke with genuine anger, Margaret flinched for the first time. I relaxed my shoulders. You were the one who pushed me out, right? Just focus on doing well on your own, although your facade seems to be cracking. What? At that moment, one of the employees approached us. He had a tense expression and a fierce demeanor. Margaret, today you're going to explain everything directly to the client. You need to clarify the Moonlink network system that you hyped up so much. What can't someone else do it? Because of your reckless behavior, the project is a mess. The clients are confused. You have a responsibility to fix this. Didn't you say you were in charge? No. Well, you don't have to shout. Just as she was intimidated by my glare, the employee delivered the final blow. She probably hadn't faced anyone who confronted her directly until now. Come on, Margaret. Oh, right, the person who created the system is right here. If Daniel explains it, everything will be fine, right? Are you serious? Daniel left because of you. Do you have any idea how much we're struggling now? At least take responsibility for this. The employee seemed very determined and didn't back down at all. Margaret turned to me with a desperate look. Daniel, well, time to go. Oh, I've already given you my business card, so if you need to make a formal request, please contact me, Miss Margaret Moore. What? You should help me. Why should I help you? I told you before, your mask is coming off. Deal with the aftermath yourself. Without further interaction, I quickly left the office floor. Ah, that feels good. Now I can focus on my new job at Red Suns. An important project awaited. Finally, I won't have to deal with Margaret anymore. At least that's what I thought. But reality turned out to be a bit different. Margaret, incorrigible as ever, came to cling to me again, this time in an even more pathetic state about a month after I left. All right, the system update work is complete. Good job, everyone. This team is always so lively, isn't it? Leader Daniel, President Williams. Thank you for entrusting me with an important project. I had been dedicated to developing and operating a new system with my talented team. We were working on a comprehensive care system that connects people and things. It was designed to ensure that even elderly people living alone could manage daily life and receive quick support in case of emergencies. It was an application of the Moonlink network system. Living is expected to be a field with huge demand in the U.S. in the future. Maria, a loving granddaughter, had a keen eye for this. Great news! Thanks to your team, our company is set to achieve record-high revenue. This is all thanks to the hard work of Leader Daniel and all the team members. So, I'm giving everyone a special bonus for their efforts. The team erupted in cheers. Maria's bright and positive demeanor was undoubtedly a huge asset to our team. Margaret was nothing like Maria. I was glad to be working with Maria. President, Leader Daniel, someone wishes to meet with you both. Oh, I don't recall having any appointments. Well, she's been desperately insisting on meeting you. It's Miss Margaret. Maria and I exchanged glances. Maria was well aware of Margaret. All right, I'll go alone. No, I'll join you. I've wanted to have a word with her. Show her to a separate room and make sure no one interrupts us. The employee, slightly intimidated by Maria's rare tone of anger, nodded. A few minutes later, Maria and I entered a small meeting room together. Hello, are you Margaret Moore? I am Maria Williams, the president and CEO of Red Suns." Margaret was flustered. I was shocked at her transformation. Gone was her flashy attire. She now wore a plain, shabby suit. Her hair was unkempt, and she looked gaunt, as if she might collapse at any moment. I was ruthless toward her. "So what do you need? Both Daniel and I are very busy. Please be brief. If you have no specific reason, please leave. You're not much older than me, but you're so arrogant." "Excuse me? Did you say something?" "No, nothing." The initial exchange clearly established who was in control. It was obvious the difference in their abilities was stark. Maria, who honed her skills overseas without arrogance, and Margaret, who relied on her parents' influence. Actually, a major flaw was found in our Moonlink network system. It caused billions in losses for the client, but none of our engineers can fix it. So you want Daniel Johnson to come back. My father is furious about this. If this continues, I'll be disowned and kicked out, and I'll have to bear the losses. Please help me." "Brother?" Maria called me brother, which she doesn't usually use at work. She had a faint smile. "Can I slap this?" "Stop it." "Then should I buy out SLT and make her pay for the added damages?" "Stop that too." "With that look on your face, I know you're serious." Margaret started trembling, probably scared by our conversation. Maria turned to Margaret. "As the president, my answer is clear. No. This situation is entirely your own fault." "No way. And another thing, how dare you humiliate my respected brother like this? Have some shame." Sorry, Margaret shrank back at Maria's sharp rebuke, but driven by desperation, she did something unexpected. She got down on her knees and begged deeply. "Please, I'm begging you. If I don't bring Daniel back today, I'll really be disowned. Please, please. Are you still talking?" I held Maria back as she got furious. I looked down at Margaret, who was pressing her head against the floor. "It looks like you've learned your lesson, Margaret." "Yes, so please help me." "But it's not enough. Not nearly enough." Margaret looked up in shock. I continued. "Even now, you're only worried about yourself. Even if you get through today, you'll just repeat the same mistakes." "That's not true. 1 month is far too short to truly change, especially for you." I delivered the final blow to the paleface. "Margaret, I'm not coming back, so go ahead and get disowned. When you really decide to live seriously, you'll find a way. No, you'll make a way with your own hands." "No." Leaving the sobbing Margaret behind, Maria and I exited the meeting room. After that, Margaret, who had achieved nothing, finally lost her father's favor. I heard through the grapevine that she had resigned from SLT and was kicked out of her family home. Additionally, she was formally sued for damages due to the false and exaggerated promo that caused the company losses. Several times, she tried to contact me through my business card or waited in front of Red Suns, but eventually she stopped. She probably didn't even have time for that anymore. At last, I was able to cut ties with Margaret for good. And as for me now, look, Grandma, if you do it this way, see, it's convenient, right? Oh my, you're right. This makes living alone much safer. On a rare day off, Maria and I visited Nanny's house to explain the newly installed care system. Maria looked delighted. She had always been concerned about her grandmother, and being able to alleviate Nancy's worries brought her peace of mind. "It's a wonderful world we live in now, but I still have one worry left." "Oh, don't worry about that, Grandma," Maria said, hugging my arm. "Starting this spring, I'm going to live with Daniel." "Oh, really? That's wonderful news. So my next worry is, hey, you two, can you stop pretending and playing this little act?" I said. Marita and Nancy smiled mischievously. Their expressions were identical. This spring, Maria and I are getting married. Nancy was the first to know. But we're just so happy, right, Grandma? Absolutely. Good news should be repeated as often as you like, right, Maria? Good grief, I thought to myself, that I wanted to protect this lively, cheerful, and most beloved family forever.